Paying yourself more allows for better boundaries. You don't feel pressure to overgive because you're not financially stressed. You are able to locate and hire better teams because you are not overworked and stressed. You can hire slowly, move smarter, and move more intentionally. Welcome to Grant CEO, the podcast for experienced grant writers ready to stop doing all the work and start leading like CEOs. I'm your host, DeaRonda Harrison, founder and CEO at June 1st Firm and creator of the 5P Grant CEO framework. Each week, we dive into the shifts in power, position, pull, pricing, and people that will help you build a business that hasn't created another job for you. Ready to step back and trust your team to deliver? I sure hope so. Go from grant writer to grant CEO. Let's get into it. Why paying your team more than you are paying yourself as a CEO is not noble. It's actually damaging. Welcome to this next episode. I want to talk about how many grant consultants do this quietly. They pay VAs and subcontractors and team members more consistently and at a higher rate than they pay themselves. The normal emotion of, I want to be a great CEO that pays their people good rates and paying them on time is great and it's necessary, but it also needs to be applicable for yourself because not taking care of you is the fastest way to burnout, resentment, and eventually quitting consulting altogether. So it goes back to, if you've ever been on a flight, they always say in an event of an emergency, if there's ever an emergency and the mask fall down, to put your mask on first before you assist a child or elderly. It's the same thing for your business, making sure that once you bring on the clients and you determine your revenue and income, looking at your break-even analysis and all those different things, you paying yourself goes into that, and then your team. So it's essentially determines what you can pay your team determines is what is you can pay your team after you are paying yourself. So why are grant consultants do this? I want to be a good leader. They want to be seen as a good leader. Don't want to underpay their team, but you shouldn't. You feel like your team depends on you. Know that you working with a number of single moms, have a number of moms who left the 9 to 5 to be home and needed more flexibility in their jobs. And you feel obligated to making sure that you're paying them a good rate. And you should. All of these feelings are right. You feel like, well, I can just make up my pay later date, or if I get a larger contract, I'll just pay myself in that. Or you feel like, I don't need much. I'm building a business. I'm building something. I want them to feel taken care of, meaning your team. Again, I'm going to explain this gently, and I'm talking to myself, so don't feel any attacked. Don't feel any ways attacked in this. This isn't noble. This is a misunderstanding of leadership and a misunderstanding of the CEO role. Your team depends on the business being healthy, and that starts with a healthy CEO. The hidden cost of paying everyone else, I touched on this, is that you will burn out. It's only a matter of time. And if you've ever been at burnout, you don't want to be there again. I was there a few years ago, and the thing with burnout is it just happens. A lot of times you don't see it coming. There aren't typically any real signs. It just happens. And when you get there, your brain doesn't function correctly. You don't make healthy decisions, and you don't want to get to that place because you're doing most of the work. You're carrying all the toll of the business. You're carrying the load, and you're getting paid the least. You want to avoid that. You build up resentment. You start to feel bitter. You're like, I'm just going to go back to a 9 to 5. I left the toxicity. Now I'm feeling this in my own business. I've created this toxicity in my own business because you're not paying yourself, or you're taking care of everyone else. Just like working at a nonprofit. I know in my experience, I was a lone grant writer. I feel like everybody got off for the holidays. Everybody got their Thanksgiving and Christmas break. Even going into the New Year's, a lot of people were off. I was off, quote unquote. I was on PTO, but I was home working on grants that had these early January deadlines. So you build up that resentment So you don't want to be in that place again because you feel like your business isn't supporting you. You don't want to be in a place of resentment. The underpricing comes up a lot. You're paying everyone else first and you don't have any money to pay yourself. You could be undercharging. That could be a red flag. Or you could just be very high overhead where you may be overpaying your team, or you may have too many team members. Can you skim some of the fat, so to speak? If you feel like you can't pay yourself well because you won't be able to afford contractors long term, that's just a misnomer. That's a myth. So you really want to think about paying yourself consistently, and then you will know what you're really working with, what you really have left over, paying yourself a salary that you desire and want, especially if you're an experienced senior level grant professional, and doing that on a consistent basis. And you can see what your income really looks like to bringing on team members and what you can pay them. In returning to a 9-to-5, this is exactly what pushes consultants back into salary jobs that they really don't want. And I don't want to position this in a way that going back to a 9-to-5 is a failure. If you do what you have to do, that makes sense. But if this is something that you do not want to return to, making sure that you are paying yourself as a CEO. Really think about yourself as the biggest asset for your business. Think about you, the CEO, as the biggest asset for your business. You are the strategist. You are locating and finding clients most of the time. The referrals that come to you are because of you. You are the reason clients sign contracts. Most of you are handling those sales calls, discovery calls, initiating those conversations, sending out those proposals. You are the brand. Your brain is the brand. A business cannot function without you if you are the CEO. You are the CEO. So if the CEO can't be underpaid, you don't want your CEO to be tired. You don't want your CEO to lose passion. You don't want your CEO to become bitter and have resentment. You don't want your CEO that they can't support his or her own life. This is not optional. This is foundational. You want to make sure that you are being compensated and at a senior grant writer rate for what makes sense for you and your business. When you pay yourself well, you have clarity, you have capacity, you are more creative. And when you don't, you become that bottleneck in your business. What paying yourself more actually allows is for better leadership. You're framing it as empowerment. It's not greed. You're not just trying to take all the money from the business, but you are the leader of the business. Again, like I said, if you were to go away, there would be no business. There would be no strategy behind it in this moment, at this time. There will be a point where your business can operate without you, but you want to frame it in a way as the CEO, as the leader, you're leading from a place of abundance, not exhaustion. Paying yourself more actually allows for better boundaries. You don't feel pressure to overgive because you're not financially stressed. You are able to locate and hire better teams because you are not overworked and stressed. You can hire slowly, move smarter, and move more intentionally. This just happened for me. I hired this year and I took my time. I didn't even post it on LinkedIn. I didn't put it on Indeed. I didn't even put the job announcement out on any public platforms. I just actually shared it with my network and got quality potential candidates that way and just started conducting interviews. And it actually was one of my most probably difficult decisions I had to make because I had quality candidates. And again, I didn't post on any job platforms. And it was because I was in a good position. I wasn't stressed out. It wasn't a rush hire. I took my time and was able to make a very great hire. Your work improves when you're not drained. I know when I'm drained, tired, burnt out, my actual work product is not as of great quality. So again, you want to make sure you're being compensated. You want to make sure you don't reach burnout because you're delivering better quality work to your clients. And even just being able to lead better as a CEO. You attract clients who respect the fact that you are in a real profitable business. So you want to just shift out of the everyone before me mentality pattern. Really sit down and think about what would you like to make as a CEO? Really sit down and think, what would you like to make as a CEO? Think about this number. Take everything else out of your thought, prior experiences, all the things. What would you really like to make? What is your CEO salary goal? How much do you need to feel safe, stable, and supported to be able to sustain you, your business, take care of bills, take care of family needs, be able to travel, do things that you enjoy? And then reverse engineer your pricing to support that salary. Within the coaching model, I have a break-even analysis that I have clients go through. So what does that look like if you're at 1 client, 2 clients, 3 clients, 1.5 clients? What is that number for you to break even? And then you can reverse engineer what you would like to bring in as a CEO, like that salary. So that even helps you like come up with your pricing. I know a lot of people still struggle with pricing and what that looks like. So really start with what your CEO salary should be, what you would like to bring in as a CEO. And then your actual retainer rates, your rates that you charge your clients can reflect your salary, can reflect your team pay, what you pay them, your taxes that have to be paid out every year, your operational cost, and then leave room for profit for your business. So just really think about pay yourself first, always. Even if the amount is small at first and you work your way up, just start exercising that muscle. This habit matters. And again, like I said, I'm talking to myself in this and making sure that we're being paid. I've set up through my tax accountant. She advised me to work with ADP. She had a point of contact there. And that's how I'm able to just set up my salary. I pay myself once a month through my business, and it's done all through ADP. I don't have to like touch anything, move money around. I actually pay myself through a W-2. So I'm a W-2 for my business, and you can just have that handled and just hands off, if you will, and have that taken care of. That's how I manage that. And of course, I want to continue to increase that number year to year. Set clear caps on what your team expenses look like. So it's so easy to always say, oh, I need help with this. I need this. I need a BA. I need an executive assistant. I need a virtual assistant. I need another assistant who specializes in systems. And I need some subcontractors who are writers. And I need writers who specialize in federal grants and public grants. And before you realize it, your overhead on team expenses is exorbitant. So you want to make sure that you have a number that you don't want to exceed when you have this many clients. So really working through that as well. Just do not hire beyond your revenue capacity. Just turn off being the hero mode of people depend on you. You need to depend on you, that your salary does as well. Reevaluate which clients actually support your ecosystem. So again, you'll hear episodes where we talk about your ideal clients, what they look like. So you want to make sure that you are working with clients who pay your ideal rate that covers your salary, that covers your team's salary, that covers like your business expenses. So thinking through that, working through that break-even analysis document would be very helpful. So some of you may be working with clients that you've just been working with for so long at a lower, like maybe rate, but does that client generate enough margin, if you will, or revenue to support you and your team? Are you spending a lot of time and hours on this client? Again, it could just be a long-term client that you gave a really low rate and you are continuing to stick to that rate. Is it time to increase that rate for that client? Keeping all these things in mind. So just remember, you're not being greedy for paying yourself well. You're not being selfish. You're actually being a strategist. You're being a real CEO. You're not harming your team. I'm pretty sure your team would want you to be paid handsomely. You are building a sustainable business that can support you and your team long term. No one benefits when the CEO is not paid or compensated at a quality rate. No one benefits when the CEO is depleted. No one benefits when the CEO is burned out, tired, and questioning their own business. So when you're thinking about your team wants stability, your clients want consistency, and your business needs you, and they need you to be performing well. So paying yourself is not optional. And I don't just mean just a few dollars. Paying yourself your goal salary is not optional. It is your leadership. It's your duty to you yourself as a business owner, as a CEO. So really think through these things. Shoot me a message on LinkedIn. Let me know what resonates with you. My inbox is open. I would love to hear how you feel about this and have just been in that belief that, paying yourself last is noble. I really want you to reframe that. It's actually not noble. It can be harmful for you and your business. It is harmful for you and your business. So reframing that, making sure you as a CEO taken care of and taken care of well. So thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening to Grant CEO. Please take a moment to write down your Grant CEO move of the week. One action that will move your business forward in either power, position, pull, pricing, or people. And if what you desire is mentorship and support, visit our website at grantceo.com. There you can also learn more about the program. Keep leading, keep growing, and remember, your expertise deserves to be valued. I'll see you in the next episode.